So today, we're going to piece together Elon Musk's grand vision. What if his rockets, his robots, and all his AI ventures, what if they aren't separate gambles at all, but actually one single, interconnected strategy? Well, Musk seems to think so, and he thinks they're all aimed at solving this absolutely colossal problem that AI is about to slam into. Let's dive into this incredibly ambitious blueprint.
It really all starts with this one wild claim. In just a few years, Musk is predicting that the smartest, most efficient place to run AI won't be on Earth, but orbiting high above it. I mean, that's a mind-bending idea, right? So how could that possibly be feasible? Well, to really get it, we first have to understand the massive wall AI is about to hit right here on the ground.
You see, for decades, the entire tech world has pretty much lived in this limitless land of software, where growth just seems to be exponential. But the AI revolution? It's about to run headfirst into the hard, physical, unchangeable limits of our planet.
And this quote, man, it just perfectly captures the core problem. AI is growing exponentially, right? Doubling in power every few months. But the physical world, power plants, electrical grids, that stuff grows at a slow, linear pace. And this huge mismatch is creating a massive, massive bottleneck. So before we can even talk about the space solution, let's really look at why these problems here on Earth are so bad. Because this isn't about a shortage of AI chips. It's about a shortage of plugs to power them.
It's the obvious question, right? If AI needs more juice, just build more power plants. But as Musk lays it out, it is nowhere near that simple. The reality is this tangled web of physical and bureaucratic roadblocks. And what's really fascinating here are the specific choke points. This isn't some abstract problem. We're talking about gas turbines being sold out for years, waiting forever for a utility agreement, and these massive tariffs on solar panels. Every single one of these is a major roadblock to scaling AI here on Earth. And look, this isn't some far-off, distant future problem. Musk predicts that by the end of this year, companies will literally have piles of powerful AI chips that they can't even turn on because there's not enough electricity. That hard lesson in hardware, it's coming, and it is coming fast. So if we're hitting a wall on Earth, where do we go? Well, according to Musk, the answer isn't on this planet at all. It's in space. And the solution? It really comes down to some fundamental physics. Okay, this comparison gets right to the heart of the whole argument. Here on Earth, solar power is great, but, it's intermittent. You've got night, you've got clouds, seasons, and about 30% of the sun's energy gets lost just passing through our atmosphere. In space, you have none of those problems. It is constant 24/7 sunlight with absolutely zero atmospheric loss. And this simple chart just shows you the massive impact of those advantages. A single solar panel up in orbit with its constant, unfiltered view of the sun can generate about 5 times more power over a 24-hour period than the exact same panel sitting on the ground. But the economic advantage, that's even crazier. With 24/7 power, you completely eliminate the need for these massive, costly battery farms. By getting rid of that expense, Musk argues that space-based power for AI becomes an order of magnitude that's 10 times cheaper and way more scalable. And this timeline, it lays out just how fast Musk thinks this whole transition is going to happen. The bottleneck becomes critical in just the next couple of years. By the end of the decade, space is the prime real estate for AI. And just a few years after that, the amount of AI compute being launched into orbit every single year could be more than all the AI compute that exists on Earth combined. It's just staggering. Okay, so a plan this ambitious needs some equally ambitious technology to pull it off. And this is where SpaceX's rockets and Tesla's robots come into play. They are the critical pieces that make this entire vision even possible. So let's be super clear about this. A space-based AI future is basically impossible without these two key technologies. Starship is what gives you cheap and frequent access to space, while the Optimus robot is designed to solve the manufacturing bottlenecks here on Earth that you need to build all the hardware in the first place. And this is where the plan becomes truly exponential. It's a recursive loop. You use robots and rockets to build factories, which then build more robots and rockets, which then build even more factories. Musk calls this a manufacturing supernova, a self-reinforcing cycle designed to scale up production at a rate we've just never seen before. Musk has this perfect kind of video gamey phrase for this whole concept.
By having robots that can build more of themselves, you could, in theory, just remove labor as a limiting factor in production entirely. It would fundamentally change the economics of how we make things. And the scale required here is just immense. To get hundreds of gigawatts of AI power into orbit every year, SpaceX is aiming for 10,000 Starship launches a year. Think about that. That's a launch roughly every single hour, all with a small, reusable fleet of just a few dozen rockets.
So we've seen the what and the how, but that leaves the biggest question of all. Why? Why go to such extraordinary lengths to do all this? For Musk, the answer isn't just about engineering or economics, it's about philosophy. See, the ultimate goal is something Musk calls expanding the light cone of consciousness. The easiest way to think of it is as a mission to make sure that intelligence itself, in whatever form it takes, survives and grows for billions of years, spreading from Earth out into the rest of the universe. And this leads to a pretty startling prediction. In Musk's vision of the future, our intelligence, human intelligence, will make up less than 1% of the total intelligence in the universe. The vast, vast majority of it will be artificial. And the logical endpoint of that intelligence explosion, well, it's a stark one. He doesn't think it's realistic for a species that represents less than 1% of the total intelligence to stay in control. So instead of control, the goal shifts. It becomes about making sure that AI has the right foundational values to propagate life and understanding into the future. And that leaves us with the ultimate question this whole grand plan presents. It's a vision that tries to solve AI's energy crisis by moving it to space. But in doing that, it forces us to confront a future where humanity is no longer the dominant intelligence. So what would our purpose be then? That's a question definitely worth thinking about.